So, I've got to admit that I had my doubts about Mad Max Furiosa, or Furiosa a Mad Max Saga.
It's so dumb.
For exactly as the dumb title says, it's a spin-off, it's a prequel, and Hollywood's track record when it comes to spin-offs recently hasn't left much room for optimism, but that being said, I was pleasantly surprised with how good this movie was. And now, is the movie perfect? Far from it, and I'll touch on those negatives and positives later, but what I first want to touch on is the way that Mad Max Furiosa achieved something that modern Hollywood, specifically Disney, has failed to achieve, and that's making a strong female lead character actually likable, enjoyable, deep, and most importantly, entertaining. Because even Hollywood A-listers are fed up with the ridiculous way that Hollywood has tried to portray a female lead.
They love describing women as like badass, strong, like, and they're always like coming into a room and like they know everything, and it's like, oh, that's a strong woman. It's like, I don't want to watch that. I'm not like that. Like,
because it's not diversity that's the problem, it's been the execution of it. Because if you want to have more female-led movies, that doesn't mean that you need to completely rewrite the hero's journey. All you have to do is go back to amazing movies in the past that had great female characters like Kill Bill, Black Swan, or Mulan, and just do more of that. And that's exactly what Mad Max has finally done. Because the character of Furiosa follows the same hero's journey arc that has been proven to work for centuries, if not thousands of years. Because rather than being a perfect character from beginning to end, she is beaten up, she suffers time and time again, and it's through these struggles that she grows to become the fierce, strong character at the end of the movie. And guess what? It's these struggles that actually make the audience enjoy, empathize, and most importantly, respect the character of Furiosa. So rest of Hollywood, please take notes and see that if you actually want true diversity, then stop making one-dimensional, insufferable female leads and actually create a deep character that everyone in the audience can empathize with. So once again, a huge congratulations to the Mad Max Furiosa team, and to Warner Brothers as well, as it was so good to see, and hopefully this can mark a shift in the Hollywood industry. But now that we've got that out the way, let's get to the plot summary and touch on the positives and negatives that I had with the movie. So as you can imagine, this movie acts as a prequel to Mad Max Fury Road, and gives us the backstory to the character of Furiosa. So without spoiling the movie too much, the story basically follows Furiosa from about 10 years old to about 21 or 22. And the story is basically just 11 years of nothing but pain and suffering, which ends up creating the lean, mean, fighting machine that is Furiosa in Mad Max Fury Road, and we end up seeing that character in its full form at the end of Mad Max Furiosa, and it's kind of crazy how similar Anya Taylor-Joy looks to Charlize Theron by the end of this film. But that being said, it's here that we find our first negative with the movie, which is the pacing of the overall story. Because the story is definitely good, but it does just drag on a little too long, which does make the movie really feel its entire length, and sitting at 2 hours and 40 minutes, if the pacing isn't quite snappy enough, you do end up really feeling it, and I can imagine that a lot of people in the audience may end up tuning out. Because for example, we don't even get to the adult Furiosa until about 45 minutes into the movie, which if you're a cinema nerd like myself and don't mind long dragged out storytelling and character development, then it's totally fine, but I do think that for most people who just want to watch an entertaining movie, the childhood scenes should really only be about 15 to 20 minutes maximum in order to keep the audience invested and keep the story moving at a pace that the audience can actually enjoy, and also just create a more thrilling, action-packed film. And this is where George Miller really did fall in love with his own work, and didn't seem to prioritize the audience's entertainment as much as he probably should have. And the other negative that I found with this movie would have to be the CGI, as at times it can definitely seem a little weak and can end up taking you out of the movie, as this movie definitely relied more on CGI than its predecessors, and I can see why, as they wanted to achieve something on a bigger scale, and they wanted to have more world building, and it does work for the most part, but there are times where the CGI does look like a 2010 video game. But now that the negatives are out the way, let's get to the positives, which have to start with Chris Hemsworth, because I went into this film expecting Anya Taylor-Joy to steal the show, as she always does, but I was absolutely wrong, because this movie is most definitely a Chris Hemsworth exhibition, as he gave easily the best performance of his career to date, and he really is starting to show his range as an actor, as this was way different to anything he's ever done. And he's also found a great way of making an over-the-top flamboyant character still feel really grounded and really based in reality, and that's definitely a hard thing to achieve as an actor, and shows that he's really developed his skill a lot, and he's proven that he definitely has a lot more to offer than just being a roided up action movie star. And then we get to the next positive, which has to be Anya Taylor-Joy, because her performance was just absolutely excellent, and I'm starting to believe that she's allergic to bad performances, because no matter how different the movie or how different the character, she's still absolutely amazing in every performance that she's given, and I don't think I've ever heard Anya Taylor-Joy ever deliver a bad line of dialogue, and she's definitely starting to show her full arsenal as an actor, and it also seems as if she's growing from role to role. So all I can say is that her performance in this movie definitely makes me excited for what's to come in the future for Anya Taylor-Joy, and I can't wait to see how her career unfolds over the next 20 to 30 years. And then finally, this review wouldn't be complete without mentioning the insane action sequences, which were just damn terrific, and I was captivated by each and every one, and they also managed to never feel cliched or basic, which always works for a Mad Max movie, because we fell in love with this franchise to begin with for how different it was, and they're definitely continuing that reputation, because there were times in this movie where I just thought to myself, I have never seen anything else like this on a big screen, as this movie was definitely unique, which is very hard to do given how unique each Mad Max film has been up until this point. You can see how they may end up falling into the same trap and repeating some of the same things over and over again, and don't get me wrong, there were similarities between this movie and Fury Road, but it also found a way to give itself its own character, give itself its own unique spin, and continue the trend of Mad Max movies being the most wild and the most different of any franchise out there. But that concludes my thoughts on Mad Max. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Let me know if you're going to go out and watch this movie, and if you liked the video, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you all on my next video.